First home buyers can relax and not worry so much about being judged for having a Netflix account. New lending rules that were brought in just 4 months ago have now been tweaked. Imogen Wells has the details.
First home buyers, we've got some good news. Netflix and fish and chips on a Friday are back on the menu because the government's fine-tuning changes it made to lending rules just 4 months ago.
I think there's a sense of a little bit of relief.
The regulations introduced in December were intended to protect vulnerable borrowers from loans they couldn't afford, but instead meant lenders were drilling into the daily spending habits of all potential customers. Some even reported their mortgage application was declined because of the amount spent on pet food.
It was quite invasive, looking back on people's bank statements, asking them about their Uber Eats spend or their reason for Netflix, or we even heard of a case of somebody's counselling bill being questioned.
People were being declined that should have otherwise been approved, and it was just creating a bad experience for a whole lot of Kiwis out there.
The minister in charge says banks took the regulations too far, so he's tweaking them to really spell things out.
It does appear that the banks have taken a conservative approach to the regulations. That's part of what we're doing here, is moving to clarify that they don't need to second and 3 times check some of these things.
The changes announced today should mean those lending microscopes stay in the cupboard. Instead, banks will no longer have to look so closely at recent bank transactions. Regular savings or investments will no longer count as outgoings, and the government will provide lenders with examples of obvious affordability, meaning in some cases a full assessment isn't necessary.
Kind of back to the future. It'll be like it was 6 months ago. That effectively the changes that were put in December that have had a bad impact have been unwound.
This is about getting things right and making sure the law is working as intended.
But you may be grilled on your spending for a little while longer. The updated rules won't come into play until early June. Imogen Wells, Newshub.